Good morning, everybody. Joe here, budgetboss.ca. Make sure before we get started that you subscribe on YouTube, you follow on Twitter and IG, double tap that screen on IG, share this post with your friends, put it in your story. I want to make sure that more people see what we're doing because we're doing some amazing things here. So today is Thursday. It is January the 7th, and I want to reshare a post I made back in June of 2019. Now, this was my 400th post. Yes, 400 blog posts. 400. It's a lot. I did it. I did it in 2.5 years with Budget Boss. We're coming up on my 4-year anniversary of Budget Boss, so I wanted to reshare this post, and it's especially important right now because we're in the new year. The world appears as if it's ending, but it won't. Sun's going to come up tomorrow. Remember that. And I want to make sure that we are actually taking care of our business. I want to give you a little bit of a glimpse into what my life is like as a financial advisor. I meet with people every day. I meet with widows. I meet with young broke people. I meet with old rich people. I meet with old broke people. I meet with young rich people. I meet with people all over the spectrum. I'm delivering death claims on a regular basis, so I understand death. I meet sick people when they're sick. Not right now, obviously, because of COVID, but I meet with sick people when they're sick and trying to help them figure out how to get through that financially. I understand how this works. My 5 years in the industry have done that for me. I also have people writing me on a regular basis. I'm talking to people from all around the world. Over 30,000 followers of my page are reaching out to me on a regular basis, talking to me about their finance, asking questions. The big thing about it, I want to share that little side of it to you because this is what I deal with on a daily basis. I released this post back in June of 2019, my 400th post, as I mentioned, and these are the top 10 things I learned about money in my time at Budget Boss since then, and even now, they're still very relevant. So let's jump right into it. So there's that handsome guy right there. That's me, Budget Boss, 400th post. Let's take a look at point number 1. This is a big one. People have no clue what they're doing. At all. At all. And I want to say this about that. It's okay. Most people don't. And if you're one of the people who do not have any clue about what you're doing, that's okay. What is not okay is if you stay in that point and you don't seek help, trustworthy help to make you get going with your financial plan. Being ignorant is not an excuse. There's so much information around us. I'm trying to provide information on a daily basis, but there's tons of other people that I follow, the gurus that have been around forever. We got the Dave Ramseys, we got the Gail Vaz Oxlades, we got Anthony O'Neill, we got MJ Harris, we got Susie Orman. We got people that are constantly sharing info. One of my favorites, Chris Hogan, Everyday Millionaires, and we'll get to that in a little bit. There is tons of resources out there. Sad part is there's tons of bad resources out there. Anyone with an IG account thinks they're a financial guru right now. So the big thing about it is that what you need to understand, not knowing is okay, but not doing anything is not okay. And most people don't really know. This isn't taught in school. This isn't. Most people don't discuss this with their family, their friends. It's still kind of taboo. People aren't talking about their personal finance, and they really should start doing that. So I've realized when I sit at kitchen tables with people or I talk to them on the phone or I meet with their families, most people have no clue what they're doing. And the weird thing is that people that think they know what they're doing often have no clue what they're doing. And those are the people that are the most destructive because they're so tunnel vision in what they think is correct that they won't listen to anyone else. I like the people that are blank slates, and I can help bring them up with a basic level of knowledge that they can take with them and then pick and choose the things that they're interested in and go down those tunnels on their own. But for the most part, most people have no clue. So what I want people to do is actually get the knowledge, get the basics in, and that's why the page itself is sharing a lot of what the basic knowledge is, and then I expand upon that in my personal client meetings with my clients, hundreds of clients, thousands of followers at this point, and I just want to make sure that you're not alone when you have no clue. You are not alone. So make sure that you don't take this to heart and you're not. People always say to me when I meet with them, well, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm sorry. And I'm like, that's okay. This is my job. This isn't your job. Your job is a teacher. I don't know how you don't kill those kids at the end of the day. I probably should have got shot by my teacher when I was in high school. So kudos to you. I don't know how you do what you do. So it's understandable that you don't know how I do what I do. So, long story short, Ignorance is not an excuse. Take the steps, but yeah, gain that knowledge. Reach out to someone like myself or all the other great financial advisors out there that can help you along with this process, because not doing anything is the worst thing you can do. Next point, people die poor, very poor, and honestly, this is so true. 50% of the population goes into retirement with no savings whatsoever. 25% of the population right now is $400 away from a financial emergency. And we actually have seen that in action when COVID hit last March, where people all of a sudden a week, one paycheck was missed, and they were missing rent and missing mortgage payments and all this stuff. So people die very poor. The number one reason people go into retirement poor is because of health problems, because they don't get adequate insurance and they don't save up money and build that emergency fund during this time. I've met people that worked until the day they die, literally until the day they die. I've met people that are dying and leaving behind debts. This to me is scary stuff. Now, I know it seems like such a far way away. I mean, I'm 36 and I know retirement for me is at least 30 years, maybe a little bit more, because I really like what I do. I'm not really fully thinking about that yet. I am taking the steps right now, but it's not really on my radar. Most people, it's not even close to their radar. They're worried about the end of the month. They're worried about the next day, getting through with it and not killing their kids. The big thing about it is that we need to understand that people die very poor. It's a fact. It happens all the time, and I see it on a regular basis. So I want to make sure that people are not dying poor and maybe even leaving a legacy. So that's a really cool thing in my opinion. Life insurance. I love life insurance. And you might say, like, well, why would I like life insurance or love life insurance? Well, it combines the two things that people hate the most talking about. Death. No one wants to talk about death. I talk about death every day. I actually like talking about death. Well, we'll get into that in a second. Combines the second thing that people don't like talking about. Insurance. Why don't people like talking about insurance? Because I give you money to protect me, but I may not get anything out of that. I'm definitely not going to get anything out of that. You think about it in terms of car insurance, where I'm going to give you money because I'm legally obligated to, and I get nothing in return, and then quite potentially, if I do get in an accident, you might not even pay me my claim. Insurance is an ugly word, and I want people to get that out of their repertoire. The big thing about it with insurance is that there's good insurance and there's bad insurance. I'm trying to get people hooked up with the good insurance. The bad insurance, get rid of that crap. Life insurance to me is so very important. I have not met one wealthy person who does not have life insurance. I have not met one. I've met a lot of poor people who do not have life insurance, and they need it the most because their life and livelihood of the people around them actually hinges on having some money. And if you don't have money, life insurance might be the one thing that you go and get, because you know that you are not going to be leaving behind a mess. And again, when I say people die very poor, if they have life insurance, the people around them don't suffer. And that to me is a responsibility that everyone should take. Take the plunge, get the life insurance, forget that you have it, and then when it will be there. Sadly, you won't be here, but it will be there. And that's adulting 101. So I feel that the mentality to get into that is huge. It's huge. You're adulting. You're taking care of your business. You're sacrificing a little bit of your money every month to make sure that the ones around you are actually taken care of when you die. And me, I personally have a big life insurance policy. Reason being is because I want to leave a mark. If I'm gone, the whole world will be devastated. Literally the whole world. The whole world. So I want everyone around me to get a little piece of the pie. And you know what? Buy a drink, pour out some liquor for Joe, have a party, here's some money. That's important to me. Now that might not necessarily be important to you, but progressing your wealth and growing your wealth should be important, and life insurance is part of that. So I think life insurance is beautiful, and I think you will too if you actually talk to me about it. Next part. Life insurance sucks. Weird, eh? Life insurance sucks, and here's why. It doesn't suck, but here's what sucks. The life insurance industry. The life insurance industry, and I'm part of that industry. I see it every day. Every day. It's so archaic. The good thing about it is in the past 3 to 5 years, the advances that have been made have gotten rid of the sleazy salesman, the guy pushing overpriced insurance on you, the person who's trying to sell you something that you don't necessarily need. There's so many new great insurance advisors that are actually fitting people with the right product, going above and beyond. And what happened with that is that it became more transparent. That old dusty DB wearing a suit blazer jacket thing is done. And if anyone who comes into your house is trying to sell you life insurance looking like that, then you got to run for cover. The big thing about it is that it's so transparent right now. Everyone is going to be linked up with the product that they deserve and want. And I'm looking at these products from way back in the day that people bought and they have no clue why they bought them. You should leave your meeting with the life insurance meeting knowing exactly what you have and why you have it. That's what's amazing about today. But this is why that nasty thought of insurance comes to mind, and this is why life insurance sucks, is because that idea of the life insurance salesman is the gross part that people associate life insurance with. You get auto insurance because you have to have it. You don't get life insurance because you have to have it, because you don't have to have it. But you should start to think about it that way. The sad part is there's a whole crop of insurance salesmen that make it gross and nasty. You need to find someone that actually gives you the straight goods, straight ideas, and doesn't lie to you and just is looking out for your best interest, because that client will be a client for life and they'll love you. And this is why I get so many repeat clients, because I'm there, I tell them what they need to do and why they need to do it. They do a little bit of research, I show it to them, they get what they need to get. We keep the costs low, we keep the coverage high, easy peasy. There doesn't need to be some weird complicated scheme behind it. It's simple, get covered, period. And that's why life insurance sucks. But there's a lot of good people out there too that can help you out. So check that out. Debt is deadly. Debt is crushing people. Crushing people. And if you don't need to go back too far, just go back to March of last year and you saw the people that had no debt were fine with being laid off work, or were fine because they had an emergency fund. They were fine. But the people that did have debt, they had to keep up with these minimum payments, or they had to keep up with their mortgage payment, and they couldn't do it because the debt was just crushing them. And this is how people are $400 away from a disaster. It's because they have a ton of debt and they don't have an emergency fund. And this is what really, really hurts people. People go into retirement and can't work anymore and carry debt with them. I want people to be out of debt. And the reason why debt is so prevalent is because your financial institutions, the banks, are pushing on you. They came up with a genius idea, realizing that they can make more money off you being in debt than you having wealth. They make maybe 1% or so, 1% to 2% off your wealth, your investments. When they actually give you debt, though, they can make anywhere from 2, 3, 5, even up to 20% off your debt. Isn't that wild? Isn't that a wild, wild thing? So they realize that our model should be pushing debt on people, service fees and debt, as opposed to debt freedom and wealth. Their investments with you don't make much. Their debt with you makes a ton. And this is why it's so prevalent. And people don't get taught how to use a credit card properly, or how to use a line of credit properly, or actually not to go in overdraft. And this is why it keeps rearing its ugly head. The clients that I know that are debt free are chilling like villains. The clients that I know that have tons of debt are constantly stressed. So being debt free is in itself, it's a beautiful thing. It gives you that clarity, it gives you that peace of mind. And the people who were in debt last March really got crushed. So I saw a stark contrast. The people who were out of debt last March were actually giving me money to invest for them because they saw the markets plunge. The people that were in debt may have been pulling from investments because they needed it. And that is a sad, sad thing to do. So that's why I want everyone to be debt free, grow your wealth, get rid of your debt. Next point, there is virtually no help out there. I mean, other than me. But there's tons of influencers out there, but not a lot of them are giving you the good stuff, the stuff that you need to actually make it through. Talking about Bitcoin, talking about investing in index funds when people don't even know what an index fund is. Talking about investing in ETFs when people don't even know what an ETF is. Most people I meet don't even know what a bond is. Now, that's okay if you don't know what a bond is. Go back to point one. Most people have no clue what they're doing. But if I tell you to go invest in an index fund, which index? What's an index fund? Where am I investing? Am I investing in the Toronto Stock Exchange? Where am I investing? What's going on here? The big thing about it is that the help that exists out there, it needs to be personalized to you. And the bad thing about it is that the bank does not have a service model to do this. I personally think that everyone should have their own personal financial advisor. Again, I'm biased, but the one thing I do know is that people that do have one do retire wealthier. There's a reason behind that, is because this person is the middleman between you and your investments that can help you navigate the world of investments and also talk you off the ledge when you might be making a mistake. None of my clients last March jumped off the ship of investing when the doo-doo hit the fan. That I'm very proud of. Now, I prepare people for market plunges, drastic market plunges, and we saw a 35% one last March. Getting into that point where you actually let it go, set it and forget it is huge. A lot of people, when they're managing their own funds, do not do that though. Buying and selling at the wrong time is huge. The bank, if you can just call them up and say, take my money out right now because we're in the pandemic, you would have lost a massive amount. If you look today, the TSX hit records highs. 60% it's up since last March. And if you got out, you missed all of that growth. All of that growth. So I want people to get the advisor, that a trusted advisor that they can work with, that understands them, understands their situation. For the most part, though, they're few and far between. It's a very tough industry, and it's very hard to find a trustworthy one. And there's so many ugly ones that aren't there to help you, that are clogging up the industry. So do your research, look online, look for reviews, and find one in your area that is actually a fiduciary that looks out for your right interest, your best interest. Greed is good. Now, this is my boy Gordon Gekko from the movie Wall Street. The problem with greed is that people have this negative connotation. I like to call it proper selfishness. Now, do you want your family to do better? Most people would say yes. Do you want yourself to do better? Most people would say yes. Do you want to progress in life? Do you want to pay off your home? Do you want to grow a retirement account? Well, yes. This is the proper selfishness that I feel that people need to understand. The problem with greed is that it's associated with very, very high level greed, like greedy politicians or greedy millionaires or greedy billionaires. The big thing is that you need to focus on yourself. And if you're properly selfish, if everyone was properly selfish, we would all be better. All of the world's problems would be erased for the most part because we'd all be taking care of ourselves and the people around us. The problem becomes is if we're not properly selfish, we're taking care of the millionaires and billionaires by getting into debt to actually give them things that make them richer. So what we need to do is actually be properly selfish and take care of the things that further our own lives and those around us. And then we will get to a point where we can help others. And then we'll get to a point where our communities, our lives, our friends, our world is a better place. This is why greed is good. Be greedy for your future. Be greedy for your family. Be greedy for your friends and your community. Want it to be better. This will cause you to grow wealthier, to vote properly. That's a big one, to vote properly, to take care of those around you. And this isn't a bad thing. If we wallow in our own self-pity, we're not going to get anywhere. And if we call people greedy and we aren't taking care of our own business, maybe that's what they're trying to do, right? So let's actually start to embrace the fact that I'm going to be properly selfish and take care of myself first and foremost, and then the people around me. And if you can't take care of yourself, you're no good to anyone at all. You might be the nicest person in the world, but if you're living on a park bench, you can't help people. Your Twitter post, your IG post, your Facebook post that is saying what the world should be like doesn't help people. What helps people is people helping people. And people can only help people is if they put themselves in a position where they're able to help people. And that is an important thing. And people need to get that through their heads. They think that they're saying things and that's helping people. It doesn't help anyone. Words are meaningless. Absolutely meaningless. And if you look at the events of the 5 years, you'll see that words are meaningless. Action is what creates wealth. Action is what creates contentment. And action is what creates a better life for everyone. So I want people to get properly selfish, take care of themselves, and then focus on taking care of everyone around you. And that's an amazing thing in my opinion. And that's why greed is good. People have their priorities backwards, and that's a huge thing too. People prioritize, an annual vacation over saving for their retirement. Now, I personally love an annual vacation, but if you told me I can never take an annual vacation ever again, or I could retire comfortably, I would choose the retiring comfortably part. And then I'll take vacations all I want. Or then I'll go on drives or do whatever I gotta do. But if you're prioritizing the little things that you do on a weekly, monthly, annual basis over the long-term thing, getting to a comfortable retirement and potentially leaving a legacy, then you got your priorities backwards. You look at all the Amazon packages being delivered to people's houses right now. What is going on right now where people's shopping has gone through the roof? I think it's a couple things. Boredom is the big one, and impulse. Right? So we're all impulsive people. That's a fact. But if we actually get our priorities straight, and it's not that difficult. All you gotta do is put a few things in place, and then you can blow every other dollar you want. But at the same time, though, if you're not putting those few little things in place, like the life insurance, like the investments, like paying down your mortgage, like the emergency fund, you need to put those in place. And then, yes, be broke all you want. Spend all your other money on Amazon. But then you'll get to retirement comfortably. If you're not doing any of those things, but you are blowing all your money on shopping or drinking or gambling or whatever it is that you do, then you are going to die poor, like the people I mentioned in the earlier part of this post. This is the issue. This is all intertwined. Remember, it's all starting to come together, isn't it? So people have their priorities backwards. I'm here to help you try and get them right. Wealth can happen for everyone, and this is another thing that really drives me nuts. People complain about the rich when they don't realize that anyone can be rich. Anyone can be wealthy. I've met people that have $1 million net worth and never made more than 40 grand in a year. Ever. They retired early and still had over $1 million net worth and never made more than 40 grand a year. Again, go back to the last one. What are your priorities? Are they backwards? Is your priority to actually build up your net worth, or is your priority to live for today? Right? YOLO. Right? That's the big thing about it. It can happen for anyone. And I have examples in my family. My father never made a great income, but he saved. Now, mind you, he may have been a bit too frugal. My childhood, I don't want to talk about it. But at the same time, I look back on it, there was a method to his madness. Now, it can be a little stubborn, can be a little this, can be a little that, but at the same time, his goals were accomplished. His goals were to retire when he wanted to, and he did that. I look towards my family, and I could see those examples. I sit at people's tables, and I see the examples of the people who live frugally, who actually sacrifice to get a greater good later in life. And it can really happen to anyone. You don't need a six-figure income or a multiple six-figure income to retire wealthy. You just need to have your priorities straight. And again, all these things are intertwining into each other. Wealth can be for you. I have clients over the past 5 years that my first year I started with, and now come year 5, we're talking about some really sexy things like commuting pensions or retiring early or paying off homes. Wild, eh? How 5 years can change someone's life. And it all started with that first meeting when we actually took the steps in place to get rid of the debt, to prioritize saving money, to prioritize protecting our wealth. Really wild stuff, eh? It can happen to anyone. Anyone. And don't think it can't happen to you, because if you think it can't happen to you, it won't happen to you. That's a fact. That's a promise I'll give you. Last but not least, I love my clients. I love my followers. I get calls. I got a call on Christmas Eve from a 90-year-old woman who said, thank you for all the work I've done for her this year. That honestly melted my heart, because I didn't go see family this year. COVID-19, obviously, don't want to kill grandma. So I love my clients. I love my followers. Most people are on the same page with this. Most people understand what's going on. Honestly, if you don't like me, I get it. Like, there's a lot of things. I'm pretty abrasive at times. I'm pretty to the point at times. The reason being is because of this. I understand what it takes to get wealth. And me holding people's hands and kissing their butt is not what it's going to take. You need to sacrifice. You need to put in the work. You need to make sure that you're doing the right things. And me tiptoeing around that's not going to help people. And this is why a guy like Dave Ramsey is so popular. This is why Gail Voss-Oxlade, my hero, is so popular. She told people how it is. You need to be told how it is. You're not going to get that from just anyone. You don't want a personal trainer that says it's okay to eat donuts when you're 300 pounds. That's not going to help you. You need actually someone who's going to tell it to you straight, navigate you through the BS, and show you what needs to be done. The simple things that you can do to make your life better. And this is why I love my clients. I love my followers, because they listen. They listen to me. They take it for what it is, and they actually, they tell their friends, and their friends are reaching out to me. And, I have people that I went to high school with that are circling back and actually reaching out to me and talking about investing and stuff like that. And to me, that's an amazing thing. Again, over 23,000 followers on Facebook. IG's growing. YouTube, slow grow because I don't post much on there, but it'll grow. I've been voted top 25 financial advisor or financial influencer in Canada. One of the top people in my company. So that to me is something that, I really, really love. I really love the fact that people are reaching out to me on a daily basis. I love the fact that, influencers are reaching out to me. Like TV shows are reaching out to me. I've been on the news. I've done all these things. And honestly, I'm so very thankful for that. And this is I'm showing you what I learned. I'm in the trenches every day. I see what's going on, and this is not to scare you. This is to inform you. It's to show you exactly what's up. So don't actually get confused about all these fancy things people are talking about, Bitcoin and ETFs and all this weird stuff that doesn't matter to you. The fundamentals are the fundamentals, and they're there for a reason. You need to budget. You need to save your money. You need to invest your savings. You need to protect your wealth. You need to pay off your home. These are simple, simple things. And then when you start getting a plan together to do those things, you're going to be wealthy. 100%. That I promise you. Okay? So that's my post. Check it out. I'm going to have my link for my budget worksheet. Let's start off the year with a budget worksheet. Get rolling on that. You can save it. You can resave it. Use it every month. And it'll even show you variable spending, so the stuff you're wasting your money on too. It's an eye-opener, and my clients all use this, and I want people to start getting their budget in order. It's not difficult. Auto-populates. It'll be an eye-opener. You'll be very happy that you did. Again, like, subscribe, double tap that IG screen. I want people to share this video. I want people to watch this video. I want people to see the things that I've learned, so then maybe you can learn. And if you want to book a meeting, just go onto my Calendly. The link is always there, budgetboss.ca/contact, all over the platforms, at Real Budget Boss. Again, like, subscribe, and share. Have a great day, everyone. Peace.